Chapter 10. A New Emotional Dawn. The city of Neo-Tokyo trembled as the reverberations of liberated emotions rippled through its streets. Maya stood at the heart of the distribution hub, her fingers flying across the holographic interface as she hacked into the central control system. Nora and Finn flanked her, their faces etched with determination, ready to face whatever obstacles remained. The air crackled with the palpable tension as Dr. Emerson's guards converged on their location. Maya gritted her teeth, pushing past the alarms blaring all around them. "I'm in," she announced, her voice tinged with triumph, starting the cascade. With a few deft commands, Maya unleashed a torrent of emotions, flooding the city's networks and breaking down the carefully curated emotional distribution channels. The people of Neo-Tokyo, long deprived of the full spectrum of human experiences, were about to be overwhelmed by a tidal wave of unfamiliar sensations. Nora's eyes widened as she witnessed the cascade unfold. "What have you done?" she whispered, her voice laced with a mixture of trepidation and awe. Maya turned to her sister, a determined glint in her eye. "I'm giving them back what's rightfully theirs," she declared, "the freedom to feel." Around them, the city erupted in a cacophony of cries and exclamations. Citizens stumbled in the streets, clutching their heads as long-suppressed emotions surged through their bodies. Some wept uncontrollably, while others laughed with a manic joy. The air crackled with an intensity that was both exhilarating and unsettling. Finn gripped his weapon tighter, his gaze darting around the chaos. "Are you sure this is the right thing to do?" he asked, his brow furrowed with concern. "We don't know how they'll react." Maya placed a hand on his arm, her expression resolute. "They deserve to choose," she said, her voice steady. "To feel the full spectrum of human experience, not just the sanitized version curated by Emerson and his ilk." Nora watched the unfolding scene with a mix of trepidation and fascination. The emotional barricades she had erected over the years were crumbling, and she found herself overwhelmed by the raw intensity of the sensations flooding her senses. Tears spilled down her cheeks as she finally allowed herself to feel the depth of her own humanity. Amidst the pandemonium, the sound of thundering footsteps echoed through the corridors. Emerson's security forces had finally breached the inner sanctum, their weapons raised and their expressions grim. "This ends now." Emerson's voice boomed over the chaos, his face contorted with fury. "You've meddled in affairs far beyond your understanding. Now you will face the consequences." Maya, Finn, and Nora braced themselves as the guards opened fire. They ducked and weaved, using their hacking skills and Finn's technological expertise to fend off the onslaught. In the midst of the chaos, Maya caught Nora's eye, silently pleading with her sister to make a choice, to join the fight for a more equitable future or to remain trapped in the gilded cage of privilege. Nora hesitated for a heartbeat, the weight of her decisions bearing down on her. Then, with a steely resolve, she seized a fallen guard's weapon and joined the fray, her movements fueled by a newfound determination to right the wrongs of the past. The battle raged on, a cacophony of gunfire, shouts, and the anguished cries of the citizens caught in the crossfire. Maya and her team fought with a desperate intensity, knowing that the fate of the city hung in the balance. As the tides of the confrontation shifted, Maya seized a crucial moment to hack deeper into the emotion distribution system. With a flurry of commands, she unleashed the final stage of her plan, overriding Emerson's controls and flooding the city with a torrent of unfiltered emotions. The effect was instantaneous and profound. The citizens of Neo-Tokyo, once resigned to their emotionally stunted existence, were now overwhelmed by the sheer intensity of their newfound experiences. Laughter and tears, joy and sorrow, anger and love, all of these human expressions erupted like a volcanic eruption, shattering the carefully cultivated facade of societal control. Dr. Emerson watched in horror as his carefully constructed system crumbled before his eyes. "No," he cried, lunging forward in a desperate attempt to regain control. "You've destroyed everything." Maya met his gaze with unwavering determination. "No, Emerson," she said, her voice steady. "You're the one who destroyed the very essence of what it means to be human. We're taking it back." With a final command, Maya triggered the complete collapse of the emotion distribution network, severing Emerson's control over the city's emotional landscape. The billionaire scientist screamed in anguish as his empire crumbled around him, his dreams of absolute power reduced to dust. As the guards faltered and retreated, Maya, Finn, and Nora stood amidst the cacophony of unleashed emotions, their expressions etched with a mixture of relief and wonder. The city had been liberated, but the true test was yet to come. In the days that followed, the people of Neo-Tokyo grappled with the sudden and overwhelming influx of emotions. There were moments of ecstatic joy as citizens embraced the long-denied freedom to feel. But there were also instances of profound sorrow as they confronted the depth of their emotional deprivation and the realization of how much had been taken from them. Maya, Finn, and Nora worked tirelessly to provide guidance and support, helping the citizens navigate the uncharted waters of their newfound emotional landscape. They established community centers, support groups, and educational initiatives to assist the people in relearning the skills and coping mechanisms necessary to manage the full spectrum of human experiences. Nora, in particular, found herself at the forefront of this endeavor, drawing on her own journey of transformation to empathize with the struggles of her fellow citizens. She worked alongside Maya, her once estranged sister, to bridge the divide that had once kept them apart, forging a bond stronger than ever before. As the weeks turned into months, the city of Neo-Tokyo began to heal, finding a new equilibrium in the aftermath of the emotional upheaval. The stark divide between the privileged and the marginalized slowly eroded, as the elites were forced to confront their own emotional deficiencies and the shared humanity they had once denied. Dr. Emerson, stripped of his power and wealth, was forced to reckon with the consequences of his actions. Sentenced to a lifetime of community service, he was tasked with the arduous work of repairing the emotional infrastructure he had so meticulously dismantled. It was a humbling experience, one that forced him to confront the deep-seated flaws in his own psyche and the damage he had inflicted upon society. In the midst of this grand transformation, Maya, Finn, and Nora emerged as the architects of a new emotional dawn. Their actions had shattered the shackles of emotional control, paving the way for a more equitable and empathetic future. The citizens of Neo-Tokyo, once resigned to a life of emotional deprivation, now embraced the full spectrum of human experiences, forging connections and finding purpose in ways they had never thought possible. As the city's skyline glimmered with the promise of a brighter tomorrow, Maya stood on the balcony of her modest apartment, gazing out over the bustling streets. Finn joined her, his arm around her shoulder, and Nora soon followed. The three of them united in a bond that transcended the divide they had once battled. "We did it," Maya said, a sense of pride and relief evident in her voice. Nora nodded, her eyes shining with a newfound understanding. "Yes," she replied, "we did, and this is only the beginning." Together, they watched as the citizens of Neo-Tokyo reclaimed their emotional birthright, one step at a time, embracing the dawn of a new era. An era where the heart's true power could no longer be suppressed or controlled, but celebrated and embraced as the foundation of a more just and compassionate society.